Check 1, 2. There's no keys coming out of this monitor at all now.
Good morning. My name is Bob Gordon, and I am a very happy member of this congregation. Please, everyone, take your seats and turn off your cell phones all the way so as not to interfere with our fragile sound system, which is especially fragile this morning, I think. Welcome to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. We honor you wherever you are in your spiritual path, and know that there is something wonderful for each and every one of you this morning. I have a little something from a Zen book that I'd like to read. It's called Zen Life by Daniel Levin, and the title of it is What We See is Who We Are. There is a story they tell of two dogs. Both at separate times walk into the same room. One comes out wagging his tail while the other comes out growling. A woman watching this goes into the room to see what could possibly make one dog so happy and the other so mad. To her surprise, she finds a room filled with mirrors. The happy dog found 1,000 happy dogs looking back at him, while the angry dog saw only angry dogs growling back at him. So what you see in the world around you is a reflection of who you are. The words to our morning chant will be on the screen shortly, followed by the words and spiritual mind treatment of our beloved Reverend Karyl to take you deeply into your own centers.
We'll mix it up a little bit today.
Everyone here today. I'm Reverend Karyl Huntley, and there are people that I haven't seen in decades, and people that I haven't seen in months and months and months, and then those that I have the pleasure of looking at every Sunday. No matter which end of that spectrum you are on or in the middle, I invite you now to that place within, that sweet place of infinite joy, infinite possibility, infinite life. For at the center of our being is a doorway into the infinite, the life of God, the pattern that connects, the field of all possibility, the realm of the formless, the unformed substance, whatever we call it, is that which originates and then expresses itself as everything in this beautiful, beautiful world on this spring day, and then expresses itself everywhere else in the universe. Now I call that God, but we can call it Allah, we can call it Yahweh, we can call it Great Spirit, we can call it Divine Mother. It has been called many things through the eons, but it is that which expresses through us. And so today, in this moment of infinite privilege, I declare for myself and for anyone else who just says that silent me too, that this expression takes on a new level of love and peace, power, joy, divine intelligence, integrity, balance, beauty, inspiration, power, authentic power, and all good. That's me, now and ongoing. That is each one of us that reclaims that every day. And then the law simply says, yes, here you go, beloved. Yes, and here and here and here. We all then become powerful forces for good in this world. This is my prayer. And I give thanks for it because I know as I put it into the law and expect it to be true, then that's what I see. I see those mirrors. The mirrors of everyone acting as their highest self. So, delivering this into the law now. I know it is good. I know it is done. And so it is. Amen. Yeah. Okay. Come right on in, everyone, blessed beings. It's almost spring. Tomorrow night for us is late at night is when spring comes, but there's more about that later. Sechko and Mies are our wonderful guest artists today. They will be doing a dinner concert at Whippersnapper Restaurant tonight, and these flyers are on that table, the musicians' table, right around the corner. Please welcome our beloved Sechko and Mies.
in the light of God, in the light of God. Whoa, whoa.
There you go.
Well, good morning. I'm Reverend Sarah Hargrave, staff minister at this wonderful spiritual community. First off, we want to honor our children and bless them as they go on their way to teach their teachers and learn about this philosophy. And so let's just wave them goodbye. And we always have a time for gratitude. Gratitude is so important. And today we are grateful to all the people who are involved in setup. It is a big deal. Jim Homa, the sound team, the music folks, William, they pull everything out from under the stage and set it up. They hang the banners outside. They string the entire music system. Many things I don't know about because I'm not here that early. How early do you get here? Like 7:30 or something? Very early.
At dark 100.
Dark 100. Okay, so all of those who are involved in the setup team, please stand up to get our appreciation.
Jim Homa, stand up.
Jim, come on.
Jim Homa.
Come on, Jim.
Yeah.
Come on. Well, we have to give him seated applause. Today, quick start class with Marilyn Letzos. Marilyn, you want to stand up? Just let people see you. If you're new to the community and want a quick and interesting overview of this philosophy, come to the class today at 12:30 and come to the education table and talk to Marilyn to find out more about it. If you didn't notice, Easter's coming. We're going to have a wonderful celebration. There's many ways for you to participate, but I want to speak this morning about the Easter basket. And this is an opportunity for you to market your business or your service through a basket and also to re-gift things. Now, Vanna is over here with an example of the basket. And so whatever you do doesn't have to be real fancy. And you can re-gift things. Sue told me that last year she just put together a basket of books because she had way too many books and wanted to re-gift those. So if there are things you want to re-gift and pass on to people, put those in your basket. So everyone can do something. So and then you'll get an opportunity, everybody else, to buy what everybody else brings, if that makes sense. So register and do it. New member festivities coming up. If you are even thinking about maybe wanting this to become your spiritual home, to be a member of this community, then come to an orientation on April 15th. There's no commitment, just come and check it out. And then if you decide, there'll be a party in your honor on April 27th and an induction on the 29th. The Forgiveness Alliance, which is a big part of our community, was birthed by this community, is having a meeting at the Sunrise Center on Thursday, 6 to 7 a potluck and 7 to 9 a meeting. Bob, you want to just raise your hand so people know who you are? They're going to be talking about identifying and deciding who they want to have as the heroes of forgiveness this year. So even if you can't come to the event, give him your ideas while he's here today. I think that's it for me, and Reverend Karyl has some things to say as well.
Well, I have an announcement. And then I'll have more things to say. Many of you know that I am leading a journey, a sacred journey from Paris to Stonehenge, and it is 2 months away. We are approaching like 20 people that have already signed up for this, and there's not too many spaces left. If you are interested, you can see me. This flyer is also on the events table. I'm leaving 2 months from today. And so we'll do a lot of sacred dancing and singing and laying on the sacred earth, and it's going to be really fabulous. So if you've been thinking about it, time to make that choice to say yes. Then I would like, we've got excited travelers. I would like to welcome everyone who is here for the first time. Some of you have roses, and so I would just say that if you see someone with a rose, please go up and introduce yourself and be a loving family member welcoming the new ones. And then sometimes the newbies don't take a rose. So if there's someone that you don't know, go up to them too and just say hi. That's what I like to do after the service each time. Because it is through sharing ourselves that we create family and community, not only here but everywhere. And so I want to warmly welcome everyone who is here for the first time, or if you consider yourself new, and back again. And a special welcome to you too. We hope that you find this to be home, because many of us here just wouldn't dream of doing anything else on Sunday. So, okay, now that's moving from the announcement portion into the message portion. Gosh, it sure feels like spring, doesn't it? It is so fabulous. It's actually the closest we can get to the actual turn of spring, which is the equinox, which is the exact moment when the light and the dark is the same, is 10:41 p.m. tomorrow night. Now, of course, a time zone is 1/24th of the globe, and the moment of the equinox just passes moment by moment by moment right around the world. But somewhere around 10:41 tomorrow night is the time that I'll suggest a personal ritual for yourselves. So our theme this whole year is Tools for Transformation. I believe that the purpose of us being here is to help each other create our lives so that we are powerful forces for good in the world, like I prayed in the opening prayer. And in order to be even more powerful forces for good in the world, we have to do something different, right? Because if we do the same thing all the time, we get the same result. And some of our results might be pretty great, but everybody's results could be greater. And so we're using this wonderful tree this year, Tools for Transformation. We have a paper copy of it at the newcomers table. So if you don't have one, please pick it up, because it is your worksheet for the year. There is a place to put the word for each week, and then there is also a place to write a personal affirmation and then declare a personal action step, because that's the thing. Action changes our life. We can think about change, but if we don't step into change, we're just entertaining our mind instead of actually moving into different practice. And as we know, practice must be active, rigorous, and dynamic in order to change us. This book, Living in Gratitude, is our year-long book study, and I have now written the March study guide. It's online, and it's in paper form right over there. And so the theme, the inspiration for this talk, the title for this talk is Increasing Our Bliss Tolerance. And the inspiration comes from page 68 in this book, where Angeles Arian writes, "Because March moves us from the barren winter to verdant spring, the experience of gratitude now wells up within us ever more easily and often." And so she then quotes Brian Boyd in the Vladimir Nabokov book. And this is the quote: "This is ecstasy." Actually, just look at the altar while I read this. And just kind of go into the altar, which is a Kathy Fowler creation this morning. "This is ecstasy. And behind the ecstasy is something else, which is hard to explain. It is like a momentary vacuum into which rushes all that I love, a sense of oneness with sun and stone, the thrill of gratitude. So when I read this, I thought, that's the word. The word for today is ecstasy. And so, what a wonderful word, meaning many things. And so I actually looked up the etymology of this word. I don't do this all the time for our words, but ecstasy is a very interesting word because in the 14th century, it meant in a frenzy or stupor. And then it evolved as language does over the years. And by the 17th century, it was used by mystical writers for, and this is a quote, a state of rapture that stupefied the body while the soul contemplated divine things. And then they suggest that that's probably what helped the meaning shift to an exalted state of good feeling. But I actually have seen people do this. It's like I see people on my walk in the morning in front of a tree that is in full bloom. They stand there stupefied in their body, like while the soul contemplates the divine beauty. And I want to encourage you to give yourself to that. Just let your body be stupefied by the beauty of spring as you contemplate this amazing thing, because we have gotten used to kind of cold and winter and the dark, and then when spring emerges, it is an out of the ordinary kind of thing. It's like, oh my gosh, it's happening again. And if we can give ourselves to that feeling, we will be ecstatic. So I want to say right now, this is hopefully, prayerfully, I prepared for this to be a feel-good Sunday. Okay? I want you to feel, I want your faces to brighten, I want your cheeks to get rosy, I want your eyes to leak. And if you came this morning with something heavy on your heart, because people come to services to feel better, and they start at kind of a low spot sometimes. They're worried. So this is practice for you. I am not going to give you any deep wisdom about healing pain. I am just going to give you a good feeling. And so if you have pain right now, this is a very good spiritual practice to leave it outside of you. It's just like, I actually remember a story of that Michael Beckwith told of physical pain when he tore his Achilles tendon playing basketball. And he was waiting for the medics to come, and he was just, focused. And somebody said, "Are you in pain?" Well, there's nothing much more painful than rupturing an Achilles tendon. And he said, "I am focused. The pain is right there. And I have to be still here." So you can do that with any kind of pain. You can leave it in the lobby. You can pick it up when you go if you want to. But it is a spiritual practice of saying, that is gone from me in this moment because I am going to feel this good feeling right now. Okay, so can we have that agreement that you're going to leave your pain outside? And because, it feels good to feel good. And that's what we want to do today. So we're entering the high holy days of spring. Actually, we've entered them. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and we move right into Ostara, which is the ancient word for the spring equinox. Then we move into Passover, Palm Sunday, and Easter, and the energy just keeps on building, and ecstasy just keeps on moving until we hit Beltane, which is on May 1st. And so this is the high holy days of spring. And so for that personal ritual, the next holiday, the next moment, is going to be at 10:41 tomorrow night. And so if you, I encourage you to stay up to 10:41. And then do something that is ecstatic. And I'm sure we can all think of some things that we could do. But even like putting a little chocolate kiss on your tongue, or maybe an actual kiss with another set of lips, or holding, a furry pet, and that in that moment of balance, and saying to yourself, this moment doesn't get any better than this with the one I love, or in prayer with yourself, or reading, a spiritual book that always does it for you, or playing a piece of music that always does it for you. Give yourself that personal ritual at 10:41 tomorrow night, and I'm going to be doing something, and I am going to be thinking of all of you adding to the joy in the world at 10:41 tomorrow. Okay? How many are with me? Yay! 10:41. Okay. So spring energy. We all know it's rejuvenating. It's resurrecting. It's new. It's juicy. And that wonderful. When Kathy was doing the altar, I think you said spring is sprung. Somebody said spring is sprung. It's like a boing. And Mark Twain said something just fabulous. He said, "It's spring fever." That is the name of what it is. And when you've got it, you want, you don't quite know what it is you do want, but it just fairly makes your heart ache. You want it so. And that's part of ecstasy. So spring was marked in ancient traditions because it is, what a gift to be coming out of the cold winter when the food stores were getting low and the apples were rotting, and there wasn't. And then the first grasses started coming up, and the first asparagus, and the first eggs, and it was a promise of another year of life when spring sprung. And actually, some of the ancient traditions. In ancient Greece, for example, this is the time when Persephone is said to come up from her palace where she lives in the dark time of the year with King Hades in the underworld. And in springtime, she comes up onto the land to be with her mother, Demeter. Now, we think of this as a myth, but I am telling you that for 2,000 years, this was the practice of everyone from Socrates to the lowliest slave. This was their spiritual truth, that Persephone leaped up onto the land. Now, you can't hardly see this, but this is a leaping woman. I have a set of prayer cards that I have created for ancient holidays. This is one for this season. Now, I chose this picture for Persephone because I don't think that the earth opens up and Persephone, kind of this waif crawling up on the rocks to come to the green earth again. I am telling you, this girl bursts up out of the underworld. She leaps onto the land. It's like, I'm here. And spring is here. And that's the feeling that I want all of us to have, this leaping up of promise. And so this is the gift that we get each year, because we are a part of spring. We are on the earth. Our soul decided to come to earth. I believe there are many other choices we could have made. And one of the reasons that we came to earth is for spring. I am telling you what, this has got to be, of all of the choices in all of the dimensions of being, this has got to be a high of the entire universe. Spring on earth. Don't let this spring pass you by. John O'Donohue, the Irish mystic, said, "In every moment, our senses reach out in longing to engage the world." This is a season when our senses are tickled and enraptured. Ecstasy comes to us from our sight, our touch, our taste, the smells of spring. You know, that's another reason that we chose to come to Earth. The sensory experience. Don't let it pass you by. So one of my personal spiritual symbols that I use is the Celtic cross. And so I want you to imagine that I am in a Celtic cross that is a circle that encompasses me. And my body, when I put my arms out like this, creates a cross. If my head were a little bit taller, it would be an equal armed cross like the Celtic cross. I use this. I've created a whole prayer kit based on this Celtic cross. And the crossbar here represents earthly life. These things our senses come up with. The horizontal bar of the cross represents earthly life. Time, space, form, conditions, people, animals, plants, mountains, seas, seasons, and experiences are a part of the crossbar. All that we receive when we come to earth sits on the horizontal bar. So this is the dichotomy. The crossbar is earth. It is trees and plants and kittens and pasta and garlic and making love and, all of our earthly experience. The up and down bar, the standing bar, represents our connection to the eternal. Heaven is usually represented with up, but it's just the light, the eternal wisdom, and the depths of our wisdom going down, wisdom up, wisdom down. And we are at the crossbar right here of what is happening in eternity and what is happening on earth. And everything that is on the crossbar, the trees and the kittens and the streams and the rain, also has its standing bar that leads to eternity. So, what we can do is actually, imaginally, travel on the crossbar and say, I want to experience eternity from climbing this mountain. I want to experience eternity from holding my breath and going under the sea and looking at the beauty. That's one of the practices that I have personally. So, in order to increase our ecstasy, which is to experience eternity, there's really, as good as the sensory experience gets, it's great because it reminds us of the greatest experience, which is our oneness with God. That oneness with God is the up and down, the standing bar. And we get there by any place on the crossbar. Okay, you with me? Kinda? Good. Okay. I will show you how to do this. Okay? To increase ecstasy. Ready? This is so funny. When I did this, I thought, this is the most sensory thing I can talk about, and I'm actually going to give you notes on it. So what I'm trying to do is also balance the right and left brain, which is great because the equinox, this is another wonderful thing. When you take the Celtic cross as a calendar, and for you, you would be going down the right side and up the left side. This is spring out this way. This is autumn out this way. The balance points of the year, the equinox. So it's interesting that the crossbar is about balance. And so, increasing ecstasy, there are some things you need to think about. First, I behold. Beholding is a lot like observing, but it's with a sacred bent to it. It's like you look for the face of God in what you look at. That's beholding. So when you say, I behold the face of my beloved, that's seeking the face of God in where you look at what you love. So this is a practice of seeing God everywhere you look when you simply step into the consciousness of beholding. Because the truth of our teaching is God is everywhere. And if we can learn to see the infinite everywhere, then we have a greater chance of experiencing that oneness with God, which is the greatest thing that we all long for. And every wisdom tradition has a way to do this. It may be hidden, like, in advanced work, but it's there. Every wisdom tradition. So this is from Baal Shem Tov, which is a Hasidic Jewish leader of the 1700s. This is what he said. Think not of God, my children, as a great tyrant sitting up in heaven away from you. Why, look down. There is a flower, and a blade of grass, and a stream, and a grain of sand. And that is God too. He is there. He is everywhere. That's from 17th century Jewish teaching. So, as we behold, we then accept. And this should just increase your ecstasy exponentially, because the beauty of spring, the beauty of the world, the beauty of the heavens, the beauty of the earth is yours. It's yours. It's a gift for you. It is free. You can have it. You can accept it. I want you to have the feeling that it is not something that is happening concurrently. Oh, I'm here on earth, and this majestic redwood tree is on earth as well. This is my redwood tree. Because in the Bible it is said, all that I have is thine. That's what we go for in ecstasy, is saying, oh, my sunset, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick is one of those wonderful characters that was historic and also is mythic, and who knows what the stories are about him are true. But he Christianized Ireland and is the patron saint now of Ireland. And there is, you can Google St. Patrick's breastplate, and it is the prayer of St. Patrick. It's called St. Patrick's breastplate because it is said as a protection for any negativity that may impact you. It's a longish prayer, and part of it, and as I read this, St. Patrick's breastplate, think of, I accept. I arise today through the strength of heaven, light of sun, radiance of moon, splendor of fire, speed of lightning, swiftness of wind, depth of sea, stability of earth, firmness of rock. Now that begins, I arise today through all of these things. I arise today through all of these things. All of these things are mine and enliven me as I live today. That's the idea of I accept. I become. Because the teaching is, from us and other wisdom traditions, that we are not separate beings. We are one with God, and we are one with all of God's natural creations. The life in me is the same as the life in the rose bush. The life in me is the same as the life in the bird that's flying. The life in me is the same as the grass that is springing up. And so when we feel this connection, ecstasy is easy. Because the beauty that we behold, that we have accepted, we now become one with. And that ecstatic experience cannot be denied. This was the natural way of things for most earth-based religions. And so we go to, the pagan religions of Europe, we go to the Native American religions of this country, and like this, the Navajo chant. The mountains, I become part of it. The herbs, the fir tree, I become part of it. The morning mists, the clouds, the gathering waters, I become part of it. The wilderness, the dewdrops, the pollen, I become part of it. The wisdom of the earth. Now, if this were all, this would lead us to ecstasy. With beholding, accepting, and becoming. But that isn't the end of this wonderful pattern. The end is, I am well used. Because as this beauty and power and life come into us, we give it out again. So it is, I love everything I see, I take it all in, and just like breath, I breathe it out again. Emerson, who inspired Ernest Holmes, said, "The Supreme Being does not build up nature around us, but puts it forth through us, as the life of the tree puts forth new branches and leaves through the pores of the old." And so as we take in this beauty and power, we enjoy, and we become useful. It is actually then our divine responsibility to live in ecstasy. You see that? Because if we don't give back the blessings that we have been given, we really do get all stopped up, like, a lake that has no outlet. And so the way to give out more God is to feel more God on the inside. And so if any of you who have left your pain out there are thinking, well, this is a frivolous feeling, this joy. No. It is essential. It is your responsibility to feel this joy. It is your duty. It is your holy, sacred practice to feel this joy so that you can give it back again. And actually, this model, I behold, I accept, I become, I am well used, works for all of creation. Let's say you want to create a relationship. Well, behold other relationships that work around you. And when you see something that you like, say that. Yeah, I'll have one of those. I'll have one of those that may be even better for me. And then you become the person that is a part of that relationship. You don't grab at somebody else. You become the person that would be in that loving relationship. And then you become well used by manifesting and loving the other person with all of that goodness that you have arranged in and through yourself. So each time we consciously become what we love, our ecstasy grows. And so I encourage you, don't let this spring pass you by. Now, on this beautiful altar, and actually, I want you to come up to this altar, look at all of the blooming things that I think pretty much everything came out of somebody's garden, Kathy's and mine. And under the little green hat is a little prize that you'll like, that you can look at. It's kind of like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but it's the surprise under the green hat. And as you look at the surprise under the green hat, you can take a sunflower seed. Now, these are the remainder of the sunflower seeds that we used at the ritual at Imbolc, which was the 2nd of February, where we talked about the ancient holiday where the seeds were blessed. and before they were planted, and then you all took one of these that actually to be planted at the equinox time. But if you need another one, or if you didn't get this first one, I want you to know that when you plant these sunflower seeds, the seed becomes the soil and the sun and the water to become the flower. It goes right through these steps. It's beholds, accepts, becomes, and then gives forth again in the beautiful sunflower. Just like you become your love, your dreams, and you become more God. As Meister Eckhart said, pear trees grow into pear trees, nut seeds into nut trees, sunflower seeds into sunflowers, and God seed into God. These seeds have been prayed on. I prayed on them, and I said, go forth and do your work in manifesting your beauty and in teaching us how to manifest our dreams. So they've got really good juju. So you are welcome to come up and take one of these. And so I think it's time to do the inner work and the casting of the vision. And you know what? My prayer was answered because your little faces look really happy. So, moving into that same place, right at the center of the crossbar, the center of that crossbar that holds all of the things of earth, and the standing bar that holds the infinite, the timeless, the formless. And our heart is right at the center. Seeing, feeling, knowing. Feeling the sense of well-being in spring on earth. And casting this vision now with me, if you would, see with me the world that I see. I see a world in which the ecstatic experience is normal. That is the default position. That people are able to say, I don't know why I'm so happy. I just am. I see a world in which all life is revered, and the mystical elements of trees, streams, and the night sky bring deep wisdom to Earth's human children. I see a world in which all people understand the laws of creation, the natural laws, and use them to create a world of joy and peace and balance. I see a world in which everyone pauses, and that moment of the sacred balance, the equal time, the equinox, the equal duration of light and dark, pausing in the same moment to ask, how may I express greater balance? And finally, I see a world in which joy makes us useful, where simply by feeling that lightheartedness, joy, happiness, rapture, ecstasy, we become better for the world by being joyful. This is the world I see. This is the world I use my energy to co-create. This is the world I want for my children and my children's children. This is the world that is possible. Blessed be.
dancing like a river so wild and free. Inspiration like purple velvet colors, so wide and deep. Blowing like a breath of wind, clearing out the cobwebs inside of me. Washing out the basement of my soul, I awaken from an ancient sleep. And I'm in ecstasy, a diamond ecstasy. And I feel the ecstasy in my soul. I'm in ecstasy, a diamond ecstasy. And I feel the ecstasy in my soul, in my soul, my soul. Standing on the edge, swaying with the breeze, I learned to float. Beyond the worldly success, there's an internal peace that we can know. Way off in the distance, off to the far horizon, there's a rainbow. Beyond the worldly success, there's an internal peace that we can know. I'm in ecstasy, a diamond ecstasy. And I feel the ecstasy in my soul, in my soul, my soul.
Deborah Welsh.
Now is the time. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Done such a perfect song. Perfect. And thank
Were you in a stupor?
What?
Were you in a stupor?
I was like. Now is the time for us to share our tithes and offerings and our love. Actually, would everybody in this middle row turn around and wave at the people on the web? Good morning. Good morning. Yay. And as we prepare our tithes and offerings, let's have that same ecstatic joy of being able to share with our spiritual community and have just a better and better and better time here. And more and more and more transformation. Anyone who's watching us on the web now or later, you can just go here to our website and donate your own treasure for us. So this wonderful song that we're going to do is got a little French rewrite. It's a spring song. I love it so much. But let's just bless this activity first. Taking our gift in our hands, placing it near our heart, letting that love that is pouring forth in the doorway of our heart just extend into this gift so that the love also travels on the check or the money and just comes right into this community, serving it, blessing it, filling it up to overflowing. And so it is. Amen. These gifts. We bless the choice to give. We bless the act of giving. We bless each heart in love that accompanies this offering. And so it is. Okay, so we're about ready to end the morning. I'd like to ask the practitioners to come forward. These are the people who will pray with you today to add to your joy. And just remember, there are things on every single table that have to do with you. And be sure to come up to the altar and get your blessed sunflower seed and plant it in the earth. So Reverend Sarah is going to come up and pray us out. And then we have a very appropriate closing song.
If the other practitioners would surround the room and remind you that these practitioners who are volunteering to serve you are professionals who are normally paid, and they lovingly on this Sunday give you prayer work and support. So just join me right now, remembering that Spirit truly is all there is, ever present, everywhere, by whatever name we choose to call it. and that Spirit is everywhere, no matter what form it takes. Flowers and trees, wonderful animals, and each of us who is a magnificent masterpiece of Spirit, unlike any that's ever been and ever will be. So we behold all the beauty that spring brings, the reminder of the life that is eternal and always flowing and growing. And we behold the things in our lives that bring us joy and ecstasy. And we accept all that joy and ecstasy that is waiting for us and around us, enriching our lives, flowing through us, and enriching the lives of all those we come in contact with. And so we open our hearts to the love of Spirit and our minds to the guidance that is there, and to the action that is appropriate for us that we are guided to do. And so we just, knowing that we are immersed in a healing pool of Spirit's love and guidance and support, we move forward with ease and joy into our day and every day, giving thanks and being grateful, and simply waiting for wonderful reports and delightful surprises. And so it is. Amen.
Much of the food today came from B. Gianelli's memorial service, which we had yesterday. Many of you were present. And one other thing that came from that sweet, sweet celebration of life is our closing song, which was sung for B yesterday and for all of us today. Please stand and sing the Irish blessing with us. Oh, what? It's not? Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. The affirmation first, which I just moved right through. So please repeat after me. I behold the majesty of the natural world.
I behold the majesty of the natural world.
And accept my place in it.
And accept my place in it.
I love my life.
I love my life.
I love my world.
I love my world.
All concerns fall away.
All concerns fall away.
And I am filled with joy.
Joy.
I become an outlet for the goodness of God.
I become an outlet for the goodness of God.
I am so blessed.
I am so blessed.
Yes.
Yes.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of His hand. Rise to meet you. May be always at your back. May the sun shine upon your face, and the wind fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of His Thank you so much.